Dana White thought he could slip one more safe rematch onto the pay-per-view calendar, but the moment the rumor leaked, every corner of MMA Twitter erupted. Has the UFC boss finally overplayed his hand? Tonight we unpack the backlash that has Dana ducking the cameras, the championship limbo driving Tom Aspinall up the wall, and the 5-word clapback that shows Jon Jones is still the baddest man on the keyboard. Stick around, because the outrage only gets louder from here. The first sparks flew the instant reputable insiders whispered, Volkanovski Rodriguez, too. Years of deja vu matchmaking had already frayed nerves, but this felt like open contempt. Comment sections flooded with memes of dusty recycling bins labeled UFC title fights. Aljamain Sterling called the rumor fascinating, code for farce. Popular X threads racked up thousands of likes, accusing White of protecting marketable champs instead of rewarding unbeaten grinders like Movsar Evloev. Even the UFC's loyalists admitted fatigue. Rematches sell, but repetition kills hype. For a promotion priding itself on the best fight the best, fans see a pattern. Belt holders getting second, third, even fourth bites while surging contenders cool on the bench. The uproar isn't just noise. Dwindling Google Trends traffic around recent headliners suggests real erosion of interest. And the louder the distrust grows, the more every subsequent booking gets scrutinized. One veteran poster summed it up. If we wanted sequels, we'd open Netflix. Yet the backlash was only the opening salvo. Across the Atlantic, interim heavyweight king Tom Aspinall scrolls the headlines and can't stop checking the calendar. July will mark a year since he detonated Sergey Pavlovich in one round, but UFC brass keep telling him to wait for Jon Jones. On Demetrius Johnson's channel, he finally snapped, "I don't care about fighting Jones, I just want the undisputed belt." The confession landed like a thunderclap, a champion publicly admitting the big-name matchup is secondary to recognition. British outlets praised his honesty, yet pundits warned it might prolong the stalemate. In UFC politics, leverage belongs to whoever stays quiet longest. Aspinall's frustration highlights an overlooked truth. Holding an interim strap can feel like being a substitute teacher. You have authority until the real boss walks in. Fans sympathize, sensing the sport's most dynamic big man entering his prime without primetime dates. Tomorrow's marquee at Wembley could become yesterday's what if the gridlock drags on. But Aspinall's words traveled farther than he expected and landed on a familiar rival's timeline. Few understand leverage better than Johnny Bones. When Verdict MMA reposted Aspinall's plea, Jones needed only 5 words to hijack the narrative. "Shut your mouth and do as you're told." In one line, he reasserted the pecking order. King addresses claimant, end of story. The reply split the community. Team Jones cheered the alpha energy. Others saw a diva dictating terms while sitting injured on the sidelines. Either way, the heavyweight GOAT kept himself front page without throwing a punch, reminding Dana that any event headlined by Jones still outweighs fresh matchups on the spreadsheet. That strategic arrogance fuels resentment yet also sells pay-per-views. The irony, Jones, who once battled UFC execs over pay, now functions as their delay tactic. Meanwhile, each clickbait tweet deepens Aspinall's impatience, and fans who were furious with Dana widen their aim to include the champ. But the ripple effect of Jones's mic drop doesn't stop with heavyweights.
Jon Jones is probably watching this, so send him a message.
Hello, Jon. I have nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for it.
With supporters simmering, another online feud lit the comment feeds. Chael Sonnen's jab that a potential Islam Makhachev move to welterweight reeked of cowardice. Islam's retort was ice cold, accusing Chael of chasing hype over greatness. Sonnen answered on ESPN with a bizarrely affectionate open letter signed Uncle Chael, your guardian angel, your elder brother. The theatrical monologue blurred parody and provocation, exactly Chael's lane. Yet beneath the showmanship lies a serious stakes debate. Does jumping divisions undermine domination or amplify it? Fans split again, half cheering Islam's pound-for-pound ambition, half echoing Sonnen's charge of ducking Arman Tsarukyan's rematch. The spat underscores why UFC storylines outperform scripted drama. Athletes write the plot in real time, social feeds supply the dialogue, and every insult sets up a gate night cliffhanger. Little wonder supporters feel emotionally invested. Just when heat from Dana's booking blunder simmers, Chael pours gasoline back on the flame. And there's still the matter of a reality show dust-up featuring Jones himself.
Belt, it's nothing excited. He's a good fighter, he's a good skills fighter, but I don't want to give him chance, I need second belt. They fight for what? For me, it's nothing. Just his name, I don't need his name, I need the belt.
Leaked footage from the upcoming ALF reality series looked like a deleted scene from The Ultimate Fighter meets World Star. Jake Shields catching a shin to the skull, Nate Diaz storming in with Stockton slaps, Jon Jones trying to play peacemaker. It begged for context. This week, Jones finally explained. A young teammate play fought with Diaz, misreading Nate's edgy mood after past beef with Russian pros, and the spar escalated instantly. Jon lamented the absence of Bushido spirit, framing the scuffle as Street Fighter chaos versus martial arts code. The anecdote fascinated viewers. Even legends struggled to enforce respect in celebrity crossover shows. More importantly, it painted Jones not as instigator, but reluctant bouncer, complicating the villain narrative some fans pin on him amid the Aspinall standoff. Still, critics scoffed. Another Jones incident, another learning moment. Their patience thinned further when the next podcast segment revisited his most notorious in-cage foul.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot. But he's just...
Henry Cejudo's fresh doctor stoppage for an eye poke reopened an old wound, literally for Rampage Jackson, who still remembers training to dodge Jones's fingers before their 2011 title clash. On Jackson's podcast, the pair recounted simulating eye poke defense with sparring partners, a surreal but necessary tactic when facing a master of reach. Cejudo confessed the panic of sudden blackout vision and the financial hit of a bout halted on a boo-boo, as trolls called it. The grisly details pushed fans to re-examine safety rules. Are glove redesigns and point deductions overdue? These conversations fuel the narrative of a sport-balancing spectacle with irreversible risks, an argument that gains traction whenever business decisions appear callous. If Dana is perceived as ignoring merit, is he also overlooking fighter welfare? The overlap of booking criticism and safety debates turned the comment storm into a full-scale weather system, and even rising contenders couldn't avoid its shadow.
These guys, they think I'm finished. He said he's gonna retire me. I took that personal. Bellator, y'all don't know what y'all messing with. I'm a monster. I'm taking everybody out. Anybody step in this cage, they going.
Enter Jack Della Maddalena on a Perth radio hit, bluntly branding Islam a better version of Bilal Muhammad. The Aussie complete striker admitted Makhachev still scares him, but promised to dissect the champ's curated southpaw stance frame by frame. Fans loved the candid breakdown, rare insight without trash talk gimmicks. Yet Jack's calm confidence illustrated why fresh blood matters. Analysis is exciting when opponents truly might solve the puzzle. Compare that buzz to the Volkanovski-Rodriguez relaunch, many deem predictable. Each technical gem Jack dropped, angles to slip the single leg, footwork corrections for the Dagestani clinch, became a subtle indictment of stagnant matchmaking. Viewers crave strategic novelty, fighters crave opportunity. The gap between those cravings and the UFC's current title rotation feeds the churn of resentment now battering Dana's approval rating. But coaching staffs are scheming too. Sean O'Malley's mustachioed coach Tim Welch didn't mince words. I don't know how you debate Merab's not the best bantamweight ever. Stat sheets support him. Merab has toppled more former champs consecutively than any 135-pounder in memory. Welch described drilling worst-case scenarios, stuck in half guard, elbows grinding, lungs drowning in lactic acid. By admitting that nightmare openly, he sold the rematch better than any press conference insult. Fans respect hard truths, and hearing camp-level fear validates Merab's mystique. Yet the subtext was louder. O'Malley has to defend against the division's Iron Man, while champions in other weights get rerun luxuries. Contrast sharpens outrage. Matchmaking inconsistency feels even starker when some divisions feature Shark Tank rotations and others preserve star power. As Longo found out, even betting lines can't keep pace.
It's funny if people are saying, you just have a bunch of yes men around you. I'm like, if you watch round 1, 3, and 5 closely, no commentating, the number one criteria as a judge is to judge for damage. Motherfucker got a bloody nose and got his head snapped back in round 1. Is that not damage compared to...
When Sarah Longo patriarch Ray Longo heard Chimaev opened a 2-1 favorite over middleweight champ Dricus du Plessis, he nearly spit out his espresso. The line contradicted the sport's usual belt bias, where champs command respect by default. Gamblers, however, smell stylistic doom for the South African. Relentless chain wrestling and suffocating top pressure. For fans already irate at rematches, seeing an uncrowned challenger favored so heavily only magnified confusion. Why is rank protected in one division but dismissed in another? The disparity fueled conspiracy memes of the UFC grooming certain stars while leaving others on prove it forever loops. Longo's disbelief made mainstream bettors double-check stats, further spiking conversation. Numbers, narratives, and name value collided. Exactly the cocktail that keeps retention high. And one man eager to cash that attention is Mateusz Gamrot.
Man, the guy's big bullshit, this guy, man. I don't know what he's saying. He's not wrestling for the points, man. Here, we don't play wrestling. He's fighting, man. I don't care somebody takes me down. I don't think so this guy gonna come to the cage and quit.
Gamrot's press tour quote sheet could headline its own billboard, calling Paddy Pimblett arrogant, overhyped, and too easy. Ranked 7th, Gamrot resents Pimblett's shortcut to number 8 and frames their styles as perfect for a grappling chess match Europe hasn't seen since prime BJJ heavyweight days. Fans split again. Paddy's army thrives on underdog smugness, while hardcore purists back Gamrot's wrestling pedigree. The buzzing possibility of a London main event ties every thread together. Fairness, hype, regional pride, and the promise of something new. It's the antithesis of the rematch fatigue fueling Dana-directed rage. If the UFC books Gamrot Paddy while shelving fresh title challengers elsewhere, supporters might crown it proof the promotion listens selectively. And that perception, fair or not, could dictate which fights they bother to buy next. One rumor triggered a chain reaction. Fans torch White over recycled championship bouts.
And it was him that was gassing, not me. I felt fresh. So because of that, when he kicked me in the balls, it was a flush kick as well. It was me dick and me balls was still hurting when I said let's go. But as I say,
Tom Aspinall reframes legacy frustrations, and Jon Jones weaponizes Wi-Fi to keep the throne on ice. Along the way, we witnessed Chael and Islam sparring over greatness, eye pokes reviving safety fears, underdogs exposing oddsmaker bias, and Gamrot setting an irresistible trap for Paddy Pimblett. Different stories, same undercurrent. The audience craves unpredictability earned inside the cage, not rubber stamped in the boardroom. Dana can still pivot, book fresh contenders, lock in Aspinall's undisputed shot, and trust the chaos of competition to sell itself. Because if the UFC keeps replaying yesterday's highlights, tomorrow's viewers might finally change the channel.